Hi, I'm Kat Perez, and I'm telling my coming out story. And I'm going to start at the very beginning for me because that's important to me. I'm going to start off in the first grade. I remember being in the first grade, and of course I had my friends. I had guy friends and I had girlfriends, and you're attracted to them as friends, of course. But then you have your crushes. And I noticed, and I remember very clearly that I had a crush on two boys in the class, and they were very, very cute. And then I had this even more amazing crush on my teacher, Mrs. Fox. And I just thought she was a super fox. That's exactly what she was. She even had like this dark reddish kind of hair. She was hot. And I remember her lipstick and everything. And so it wasn't like, I think you're pretty, but it was like, I have a crush on you. So that's where it all starts for me. And I had crushes on boys and girls, and even as a little kid, you do have fantasies. I know some people like to think kids don't have fantasies, but they do. I did. And I had fantasies about women and about boys and girls, and that was very natural for me. And but I was being socialized, but it wasn't normal. And I remember in my family, I have an aunt, and she lived with a female partner for a very long time. And I would ask my mother, I would ask my grandmother, okay, so are they lesbians? And they'd be like, we don't talk about that. So it was something in my family that was very, it wasn't acknowledged. It was recognized but put under the rug. So I learned how to do that to myself, and I think very early on that's what I started to do with these feelings for women. And so that was a big part of me. And also our media is very anti-gay or anti-lesbian, all that, anti-LGBT. So it was just living in that. So I thought it was normal, and I still think it's normal, but then I was taught that something was off. So I don't think at that point I identified as straight per se, but I just thought, oh, like I like guys, and I'll kiss guys or whatever. But I never kissed a girl. So like Katy Perry, like so. But anyways, let's fast forward a little bit to junior high. I got to junior high, and I had groups of friends, and there was this one girl. I thought she was very pretty, but I did not have a crush on her. You can think somebody's cute, but not like them like that, and that was the case. She wasn't my type. She was a little too skinny for my taste. So, but anyhow, we were in the gym room one day. We were changing in the locker room, and it was all of us girls in the locker room. And I wasn't checking anybody out, but I was just, how you look at people sometimes. You just look or whatever. I mean, probably maybe sometimes I check people out. I mean, if there was anything to look at that age. A lot of us were flat tested. But anyways, this girl did not have anything to look at. That's all I'm going to say. And for some reason, she picked on me. And she was like, oh my God, you're such a lesbian. You're looking at me and checking me out. And that really terrified me. And she started spreading a rumor around school that I was a lesbian and that I'm like in love with her. And it's not that it's bad to be a lesbian, but it's the connotation that was behind it, the intention that she put with saying like you're a lesbian. So that had scarred me, and that really did hurt me. And one of the we were kind of in the same circle of friends, but she kind of had her own group too. And so anyways, like this one girl in the group, she'd be like, oh, you better be careful with what you say or don't say this because I'll tell everybody your secret. I'm like, well, everybody already knows. But I guess she's going to keep on telling, you know, everybody that I'm a lesbian or anything like that. So I just kind of felt at that point like, oh, well, okay, so I'm understanding that it is bad to be a lesbian, you know. So, so I kind of went with that stigma. And I think what a lot of us do is when we're hurt and we don't know how to handle our own pain, like I didn't have anyone to go to, I didn't have anyone to share my experience with. I think a lot of times what we do is we transfer our pain to someone else, and that's what I did. I didn't heal it. I didn't say I'm hurting or anything like that, or you know, I didn't even tell my mom about it because I don't think she would even understand that. I didn't think she would have understood, and I wanted to save face. So what I would do is I was being teased a lot at school, so I would go home and I would pick on my little brother, and I would call him gay, and I would call him a faggot, and I would call him all these things that these words aren't bad, but my intention behind it was bad. My meaning was bad, like how I said it with the intention to hurt him and to judge him. And my brother's not gay, so, but I was just calling him that because I didn't know how to handle being teased for being called a lesbian, you know. So I carried that. So of course I'm sorry about that now, and I'm sorry, brother, for doing that. It's not good, but now I know why I did that. So I went for a long time just internalizing that pain, judging myself, and feeling shame for having these thoughts and feelings for women. And I dated men, and I did enjoy dating men and being in relationships with men and things like that. So, but anyhow, it wasn't until college that things started getting a little bit more intense for me. Like, I couldn't keep things inside. I'd be at school, and like first I was at one college, I was at Xavier, and there'd be some girls, or I'd be out somewhere, and like I can't stop staring at their butts, and I'm like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm a guy or something. Like I feel like there's a dude inside me just like staring at these girls' butts. What do I do? And it was just like really awkward for me. I'm like trying to it's like this little person inside me that feels something, and I'm like trying to put it back in. I'm like, go inside, cat, go inside. I can't do it. And I wouldn't go inside. So I'm like, well, what am I feeling? Like, it's like these feelings will go away. I like women. but it wasn't until I saw the movie Frida that I had a self-revelation. There I go. And that movie was like very intense for me because I saw the movie. I hadn't like labeled myself as a lesbian or anything for that matter. Like I think I was still thinking like I'm straight, whatever. But I know I had feelings for women too, so it's like, okay, I don't think so. But I saw the movie Frida, and here's this woman who's like conquering other women and kissing women, and I was like, that's me. That is me. She is me. That's me. Like, I see myself right now. Like, that's something inside myself that wants to come out of me. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And I'm like, but she's with men too. I'm like, this is so weird. And I had a boyfriend at this time, so it's like, with that movie, I came out to myself. And I think that's like the first step, to come out to yourself. Like, the biggest step in coming out is coming out to yourself, accepting it in yourself. But then I think there's a lot more steps that you go through in order to continue to come out to yourself and others. And so I came out to myself, and I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to go seduce women. I was like, because I never had really acted on my desires. I just kept it inside, and I thought it was bad. And the next person I came out to was my boyfriend at that time, and I think it was probably hard for him, you know, bless his heart. It was a rough time, and I came out to him, and that was probably confusing for him. But, you know, I think everything happens for a reason. It was supposed to happen that way, and, you know, we eventually broke up, and I switched schools. Then I started going to UC, and I started taking, like, LGBT classes and things like that, and being more involved in the community. I was part of the UC LGBT Alliance, and I also got involved with New Cincinnati Women's Choir in order to surround myself with a LGBT-friendly environment that would support me and nurture me, and where I would feel accepted, because I think it's important to feel accepted and to be around people who share similar stories than you, so, and have a similar challenge in their life, you know, that they have to work with. So I started doing that, and I think that was very empowering for me. And I had my first girlfriend, and when I had my first girlfriend, I came out to my mother, and she was like, oh my God, all this time I've been trying to prevent this from happening. I was like, what? So you knew? It was a little confusing for me. And she was like, whoa, what's all this talk? You used to poke fun at your aunt, and so I'm like, that's self-hatred. You know, that's like, also, I think we kind of regurgitate what we learn from other people and from our families, that, oh, being a lesbian, you know, what I regurgitated from when I was teased, like, by a lot of people at school on a regular basis. So at that point, I came out to her, and I didn't come out like with a label. I didn't come out like, I'm lesbian. I didn't come out as I'm bisexual or I'm whatever, or I don't know, whatever you think. I just was like, I have a girlfriend. I came out to her as I like women. So, but it's very interesting now, because now she's very accepting, and, you know, I want to do more work with the LGBTQ community, and she's very supportive now in ways that are just, that I'm very grateful for, and that are very surprising sometimes. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And so I was about, I would say about, how old was I when I came out to my mother? I think that was like in 2006 or 2007. So then I didn't come out to my father, which was very hard for me, although I think he kind of had a clue, because he would drop little hints and say things like, you know, because they're lesbians. And I'll be like, okay. I don't know why you're looking at me like that when you say that. But I, like, try to hide it for a long time with my father. And, you know, I remember one time, you know, when I started getting into, like, more coming into myself. I call it, you know, it's coming out, but I feel like it's also coming into myself as an LGBTQ person. So I was like watching the L Word, and I loved it. And I remember like trying to hide these things, and like, you know how you sometimes you leave the evidence. So I left like a CD in my dad's DVD player because I had been staying there. I think I had my tooth pulled out or something, my wisdom teeth pulled out. And my friend had brought over L Word, and then they left. And then I left one disc in there. Oh my dad was like, what's L Word? And I'm like, he's like, what is it? I'm like, L Word can be loved, can be liked. He's like, what's it doing there? And he's like, is it about lesbians? I'm like, it's about relationships. And I couldn't say yes to him. And at that moment, my grandma called him, so I was like, yes, I don't have to talk about this. So I was like, I walked over and I was just like passed out and blamed it on the Percocet. Because I had my wisdom teeth pulled out. I'm not a druggie. So, so that's how I came out to my father. And I came out to my brother too. Like, I don't remember when, but before my mother. I think when I had my first girlfriend, I came out to him, and he was like, okay, cool, whatever. And, he said some, pretty X-rated things, to me that we could share now, because now he knows I like women, so he wanted to talk about things like that. And it was kind of funny, so. And, so yeah, I really, I think that it's been a process, and I think it's not something that happens all at once. I've set a new goal for myself as far as coming out, and to continue to come out in different things I do and be more supportive of the LGBT community. And so the reason why I chose to tell this story, my story, is one, for me, because I think it's important to share our stories. I think it empowers ourselves. So it helps me to come into myself by coming out to you. And also, my ultimate hope is just to inspire you to also come out if you're struggling, or come out in a new way by coming into yourself. That's my tagline now. But yes, I hope I inspire you to come out, and lastly, I'd just like to say, I do identify with the LGBT community. I'm not so strict on labels myself. I have a problem with the word bisexual. I think there's a lot of stigma around it. But I know for sure I'm not straight, and I don't think I would identify as straight ever. I mean, I know I love women, and I like to be in relationships with women, and but I'm also open to men too, who are LGBT friendly, LGBTQ friendly, of course. Just want to let you know that. And so I don't really adhere to a label, but I guess the closest one would be bisexual, although I hate that word. So I would just use fluid if I had to choose a label, okay? But I'm just all for the cause. So anyways, I hope I help you on your journey by sharing my story, and have a good one.